fellas doing this evening?
Great.
Ready to rock and roll, good as it can be? Ain't no doubt, man. It's a day above ground, man, so it has to be a good day, man. Time is valuable no matter where you are at, man. Time is a valuable asset. It cannot be duplicated. So it's valuable, man. It's valuable. And if you possess time, then that means that you are valuable as well. Something that what I'm bringing in here and what we are doing is called Father Factor. And today I'm going to give y'all a synopsis about what the program will entail, and it will be for 3 weeks. So it'll be every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, until it's done. And it's a powerful program. What we discuss in Father Factor is how to establish a positive relationship with your children. This is powerful information. This is things that I implement inside of my parenting myself. This is the greatest responsibility that you will have as an adult. That means that you are responsible for the development of an actual individual, meaning that you are one-on-one and your children are one-on-one. What I'm talking about, you being a one-on-one, because your left side is different from your right side. All of the fingerprints on your hands are different. It has never been a DNA created like yours before you. It will never be a DNA created like yours after you. That means that you have not been duplicated, nor will you ever be duplicated. That means that you are a one-on-one. Anything that has not been duplicated has got to be valued. Your number is 38571. I bet you nobody else has that number, and nobody else ever will have that number, right? Because that number will be attached to just you, meaning that's your only number, and nobody else will ever have that number. One-on-one can't be duplicated, and this is what our children are. So this is what increases the value of you, because now you are responsible for the development of a one-on-one, meaning that the way that their life is going to be is based on what you pour into them. And a lot of times we can't pour into things that need to be poured into them because we don't know how to establish that positive relationship. And if it's not a positive relationship established, then that means that we cannot transfer information, right? Information influences thinking. Thinking controls behavior, meaning that the way that I behave is based on my thinking. My thinking is based on the information that I have received. And a lot of times we can't receive information from individuals that barriers are created with, right? So then that means that if I can't relate to you, I'm not going to get the information that you have to give to me. If my children don't get my information, then where are they going to be in life? Because they don't have enough expertise to be able to make the decisions that need to be made in this life, right? Like, so I know what's hot, I know what's cold, I know how to be, I know how not to be, because of the way that I've been living my life. I've been able to see a lot of different ways to go about it, and I see what works and I see what don't work. I want to be able to give that to my children. I don't want them to go out there trying to figure out life on their own, right? With their immature minds, with their underdeveloped minds. I don't want them to try to figure that out on their own without the proper information that they need to be able to make the proper decisions that's going to put them in a desirable place. And what is a desirable place? Some place that they would like to be at, that they are okay with. See, we here right now, right, and this is not a desirable place. For anybody in here, is it a desirable place?
Not at all.
Not at all, right? Like, this ain't the spot, right? This ain't the spot, right? It's nowhere near the spot. Y'all would rather be somewhere else, correct? We don't want our children to make decisions to put themselves in a situation that they do not want to be in. See, if we don't give them the information that's needed, they're going to repeat our errors. I don't want my children to repeat my errors, right? 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 I don't want my children to repeat my errors. That's my responsibility as a parent. I'm supposed to guide my children. I'm supposed to make sure that my children have all of the tools that they need once they become of age to be able to live life at high quality. That is my responsibility. It is not the TV's responsibility. It is not Young Jeezy's responsibility. It is not Ricky Rose's responsibility to develop my children. Because what they will do, they will make sure that they are trying to make a profit. Their main idea is to make a profit. It's not to develop my children. So then they will say, go ahead and shoot up the whole block and go ahead and sell all of these drugs and you're going to be able to make it to the Cayman Islands and the Bahamas. That was my core curriculum, by the way. Along with the people on the streets, on the corners. That was my core curriculum. See, I just didn't just make it here. I just didn't just pop up here. See, I didn't fail. Failure is the tuition to success. And that's why I'm able to be successful now, because I've been able to overcome my failure. I didn't let my failure stand supreme. What is my failure? That guy on the left-hand side, guess who that is? That's me. That means that I did 10 years inside a Marion Correctional Institution. At 13 years old, I started selling drugs. At 19 years old, I got hit with a 10-year prison sentence. My son was 3 months old when I got incarcerated. That means that my son was going to be 10 years old when I got released from prison. Who's going to develop my son? The same people who developed me. I need to do something about that. So what did I do when I was incarcerated in Marion Correctional Institution? I utilized the most valuable asset, which is time. That means that I took the time and I invest that time into myself. That means that I'm going to develop myself into an individual that this will never happen to me again. Because if it happens to me again, then that means that it will happen to my children. And if my children got to go through the same thing that I go through right now, 10 years from now, then it's going to be way worse for my children, because things just get worse as time goes on. Who in here has been a repeat offender? Is it better? Is it getting better by the day? You know, one day I realized that you got to pay for electricity now. You got to pay for Kool-Aid. You got to pay for this stuff now. Like Aramark takes over it's no more like okay meals. Now the meals is shot. It gets worse as time goes on. So then that means that if my son gets 10 years from now, my same 10 years is going to be way worse for him. I don't want to set my son up. And that's what I said when I was incarcerated. I said that I'm going to make the decision to change my situation. I'm not going to wait for everybody to come in alignment for my situation to change. The first thing that I have to do to change my situation is understand that I am valuable. I don't care about what they're talking about. I'm 355-519. Man, I'm a man of God. I walk with power. Man, I'm a good father. These are the things that I started to tell myself, and these are the things that I started to become while I was incarcerated. So I just started to get knowledge. I just started to fill my mentality with more information so I can get in the place that I desire to be. So I said that I'm going to develop my character in a way that fits my desires. See, people, what I realize is that inside of the penitentiary, people just sat down, they played dominoes, they played cards, you know, they waited for the visits to hit, for the weed to come off of the visits. They just waited for all of these things, and they was getting high, they was doing the same things that got them incarcerated. So then therefore, during my 10 years, is when you do a whole decade, that's the same individuals, therefore they have the same mentality. See, this is what's scary, and this is people stay the same because they are in fear of what's over there. They'll stay in a known hell in fear of a strange heaven, saying that I'm going to stay in this hell and I'm not going to change because I'm scared of that strange heaven over there. I did what I had to do, man. I utilized my time. I got into Marion Technical College Business Management, graduated with a 3.83 GPA. I went from Marion Technical College, I went into Administrative Office Technology and learned the computers. I said that I got to learn the computers. Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, Word, and Access. I said I still got time left. I'm about to get in some Spanish. Acción mucho, pero traigo mucho a la mesa. That means that I demand a lot, but I bring a lot to the table. And what I realize is you don't have a seat at the table, then more than likely you are on the menu. That means that you are food. That means that if you are not benefiting off of you being here, then that means that everybody else is benefiting off of you, and you're not benefiting off of you, and then that means that you are food. Food don't benefit itself, it just benefits other people. And one thing that I realized, when I was in the streets, I said, ain't no way I'm nobody's food. And I'm going to do whatever I need to be to put myself in a position to be able to call the shots, to put myself in a position of power. That was my whole idea of saying that I wanted to sell drugs, because I wanted to be in a position of power. Until I found out that I'm sitting up here in somebody's prison and I'm getting counted 6 times a day. I gotta go down to the chow hall and there ain't no more burgers left and they gonna give me a bologna sandwich because we the last lot called. I see Joey over here eating a burger. I want a burger too. I know we the last lot called, but I want a burger. Let me get a burger. 2.4 locker box that I gotta live out of. The bed is so small I can't even roll over it. I gotta flip, I can't even roll over, I gotta flip over. Because if I roll over, I'm gonna roll off that puppy. I gotta get counted 6 times a day. So I said I wasn't gonna complain about it, right? I was just gonna make sure that I was going to become the individual that will never encounter this again. Utilize my time to become the individual that I needed to become. I didn't have the proper information when I was 13 years old making my decisions. The information that I was receiving was not the right information. I was misinformed. I was misguided. And because of those 2 things, I made bad decisions. I made decisions that would put me inside of prison. Attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, possession of firearms. Do you know how that is to come home and try to get an employment with that type of record on your back? Kind of difficult, right? Yeah, but this is what I realized, right? This is what I love every bit of it. Because if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. That means it don't matter what you done been through, don't matter what you done did. If you get rid of that enemy that's within, that's telling you that, bruh, don't get no more information, don't become better, don't develop yourself. If you get rid of that enemy that's within you, then the enemy outside can do you no harm. That means that I came home and I got a $6.85 an hour job. I work for minimum wage. I continue to get more employment. I established myself. I established my credit. My son's mother said, I trust you with the development of our son, and I'm going to sign custody of our son over to you. My son graduated from Westerville South. My son graduated from Westerville South, right? And he went on to college, Columbus State Community College, right? To take up business management. That means that he ain't going into the penitentiary. At 18, my son go to college. At 19, I went to prison for a 10-year prison sentence. This is how we change the game, right? We develop ourselves so that in turn, we can develop our children. But we have to develop the relationship with our children to be able to transfer the right information. And what's the right information that we want to transfer to our children? Old school told me, he say, Lowe's, he say, man, you know what, Lowe? He said, man, you know you're a slave, right? I said, yeah, I know it's like slavery. I know. He said, no, you are. I said, okay. He says, no, brother, go ahead and look. Look, read this. I said, wow, let me read it. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except for as punishment for a crime where the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any other place subject to its jurisdiction. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except for as punishment for a crime where the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any other place subject to its jurisdiction. The only way that you can be a slave in the United States of America is if you get convicted of a crime and it serves as punishment. This is the 13th Amendment. This is when they abolished slavery. This is the Constitution. This is the law of the land. That's why you are able to work for 22 cents an hour. That's why the bigger companies are targeting penitentiaries now, because ain't nobody getting forced to be a slave in the United States of America nowadays. We are volunteering to be a slave when we commit crimes and put ourselves in a position to be incarcerated. See, some type of information is not good to have if you want to stay where you at. This is the type of information that body slams a mentality. And this is what I'm so excited about. See, I go into any penitentiary inside of the state of Ohio now because I established myself. I've been out of the penitentiary, I did 10 years, I've been out for 9. I'm almost matching my time in. I got a bird's eye view of the reentry process, right? So when I come in and I'm dealing with brothers and I'm telling you this is what you need to do to transition back into society, you have no choice but to hear what I have to say. I'm like, If Bill Gates come up in here and he says that, you know what, look, and you trying to establish a business, right? You trying to establish a business and Bill Gates come up in here. What would you do if Bill Gates come up in here? Would you be trying to pick his brain? Would you be trying to get next to him? If you're trying to establish a business and Bill Gates come up in here, what would you do?
Absolutely.
You was like, man, I need to holler at you, man.
Yeah.
Right. Man, I'm the Bill Gates of Reentry. And I'm not even saying it like flat out. I'm the Bill Gates of Reentry. I got a bird's eye view of the reentry process, meaning that I know how you will be able to be successful. I know how you will fail. I know the traps that are out there for you to avoid so you can be successful. I know that stuff. I got a bird's eye view of the reentry process. See, in 2011, I started Starts Within organization. I founded this organization with the idea to say, I want to be able to duplicate my story 1,000 times, 1,000 times, 1,000, until we, in all of these 2.2 million people that's currently incarcerated, everybody has had the proper information to make the best decisions that they can possibly make. I take a 52-week program inside of the penitentiary, right? Like, so what I do is I cover 5 modules, parenting being one of them, parenting, cognitive behavior therapy, financial literacy, employment readiness, small business and entrepreneurship. The people who come in and deliver that curriculum is professors from college. That means that I don't even care about what you did. I care about what you're doing, because that dictates where you're going. If you come to the table and say, what you gonna do for me, then that means that we have nothing in common. I need you to come to the table hungry, saying that I'm ready to get busy. I'm ready to develop into the individual that I need to be. I don't know much, but one thing that I do know is this is not for me, and I'm willing to learn whatever I need to learn to be able to get to where I want to get to. When you talk like that, then you talk in my language. You don't need to know how to establish credit. You don't need to know how to repair credit. You don't need to know about stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and things like that. You don't need to know how to establish a business. Only thing that you need to know is this is not the place for you. When you understand that, then I can work with you, because now I can start to give you the information that will transition you out into society effectively. But I don't play with jokers, right? So after the day, it's like, man, look, hey, you want to rock and roll or you don't? That's how I roll. I fired my boss in 2014. I was building Starts Within, and I was working 3rd shift. 2014, I run in. He says, Carlos, you about to be late. You better hurry up and clock in. I said, no, not today. Boss, you are fired. You are fired. And I started to run Starts Within full time. Man, this isn't work for me. This is my assignment. It's the difference. That means that I don't wake up and like, oh, I got to go here. I wake up like, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and speak some life to brothers who need it. It's for me too. Please don't think it's just for you. It's for me. Why is it for me? I ain't even gonna rock you and tell you like, man, I'm coming in here just for you. I ain't gonna rock you like that. I'm coming in here for me. That's why I'm so committed. That's why I sweat out collars, because I'm coming in here for me. Why am I coming in here for me? Because when you raise your children and you develop your children, it's a possibility that your children interact with my children. And when they interact with my children, I want it to be a conversation and not a confrontation, because you raise them to be confident individuals. You raise them to be strong individuals and not negative individuals. So when they interact with my children, which is a possibility because they're in the same society that my children are in, see, right? So you attached to me, brother. Regardless, if you like it or not, you attached to me. The brother next to you is attached to you.